What's up YouTube? Today in this video I'm going to go over my Gauntlet recap, what went wrong, what went right, and what I thought overall of my build and the whole race as a whole. But I actually did incredibly well this Gauntlet. I was top 5 throughout a large majority of it, and I was top 5 when I died. I died at, you can see, at position 5, and the rest of the people in the top 10 were pretty much all people who exclusively play SSF Hardcore, like Darky, I'm Exile, Rise, and I think Huwu, and who's the other person? I don't even remember. But basically, just all absolutely amazing players, and it was a pretty fun race overall. There were some problems with what I thought about Scourge, and Scourge was kind of resident sleeper, and it is where I died in. Scourge pretty much made it feel like I was playing standard, and I did look at a lot of other people's stream, and pretty much no one ever pressed Scourge besides in the very beginning in like white maps in order to try to get a Tainted Orb Refusing to try to get a 6-link. But I kind of never really got Tainted Orb Refusings, and I kind of did the Scourge too late. So this is why I was trying to do Scourge in a high level map. In retrospect, it probably would have been better to have done Scourge in a lower level white map. But at this point, I was already so far behind Darky and I'm Exiled that I needed to pretty much just go for broke, as I realized midway through the race that spell suppression is just flat out broken. And it kind of ruins the Gauntlet in a lot of respects because it is pretty hard to die with spell suppression now. A lot of stuff that people used to die do, like Shaper Slam and other stuff like that, just can no longer kill you because you pretty much have 50% damage reduction for spells. So when you get unlucky, there's no such thing as getting unlucky with spell suppression. When you have 100%, so now I'm going to go over this rip. You can see what happens here. I will, let's see. Can I play it in slow motion? No, let's watch it in full speed first. So let's go here, right? So right now I'm pretty much just mapping and everything seems okay. And just to talk about this build, you pretty much just throw some traps, exsanguinate here and there, and it looks pretty good. Run into a Vol side area. So Shield Charge really makes this build feel a lot better. Last time, if you remember, I was playing Toxic Rain. And the difference is that Toxic Rain feels really, really bad to play because you don't have Shield Charge. And the only movement skill you have is running around and Flame Dash. Now here I have an Echoing Shrine. So I was like, why not? Why not pop the Scourge just to check it out a little bit? So if you haven't noticed, the Fire Golems are pretty dangerous, but if you always are moving forward, you can never die, except right there. So what happened over here that caused me to die? Because I was doing the Scourge already, and everything seemed okay. But then that happened. And so why is my theory that as long as you're always moving, it's okay? The reason being is that there's like a weird little bug in the game where if you go into Scourge before in another area, the mobs will already be firing technically when you go into another Scourge or you reach the area where the mob's ability to hit you is. So I don't know, did I press Scourge over here? I think I did. So you can see here, this is a little earlier in the map. This is the other Scourge I did. And you can see here that there is some fire golems up there. Now, here I just was going through here. So you can see I still think that I can do it, right? So the fire golems are way over there, and those fire golems are the ones that actually triggered the lockout mechanism because they got activated from before in the previous Scourge. So when I came back around after killing the boss and everything, those are the fire golems from the previous Scourge, and because of that, they were already targeting me because for some strange reason, and they had already done their animation before I even reached the area. So kind of unfortunate death, but TLDR is that I should probably have not done Scourge in a map that I saw fire golems. However, there's really no way I see myself dying to this because it would have to be some freak coincidence like this. Like I've done a lot of Scourge before, and I was pretty confident in that as long as you're moving, you'll be fine. But unfortunately, in this scenario, the mobs are already shooting me before I even got there because of the interaction between going into the previous Scourge and triggering the mob already. But pretty cool death. Died at rank 5. Probably my best death yet in terms of finish in the Gauntlet. Usually, I don't really know what happened this time. I think I just played it super safe. A lot of people wonder, oh, like, how do you actually get high ranked, and it's surely not from practice because I never really even did a practice run that much, and it's surely just from playing safe. But the big problem was that safe is just not enough. So let's go over the character and see what gear I had and see how the build actually played out. So this is my character. I was level 92. And it's pretty relatively tanky. Oh, it has no armor, but you can see how powerful Grace and Determination. This character has 253 armor. With Grace, it has, once you turn on the auras, that is, you actually have to never turn on the auras in hardcore because you don't die. You have 6,284, and with Granite, you have 10,000 armor, which is pretty insane. If you got some more armor on your chest, you could probably bump this up to like 10k, 12k armor. So it just goes to show you the power of the defensive auras that this patch had. Now my weapon is probably my best item. This is made from Reforged Chaos more likely. I got 30% chaos damage over time multi and trap damage crafted, and also 30% chance to poison on hit. The main thing is you want to try to get Seismic Trap to 100% chance to poison. My helmet, nothing special. I didn't even know about how OP this mod was until I saw people's gear in the Gauntlet. So this is pretty much increased duration of ailments. So what this means is that your poison will be like 5-second duration or something instead of 2. Or I don't really know how long the duration is, but basically your poison will be a lot longer duration when you use focus, which is on Shift T. So you press focus and then your poison will last longer during the times that Seismic Trap is going on, and this effectively like more than doubles your damage or something, because our damage is from poisons and poisons can stack to infinite stacks. Now this item here is not too bad. Wish it has some more evasion and energy shield, but it's just life and spell suppression and a tiny amount of resist, and I crafted on some lightning and chaos res. Amulet's not too bad, some life resist, energy shield, which is always good because of Ghost Shroud. Ring pretty bad, life and some resist, another life and some resist ring. So my gear was nothing too crazy. 5 link was just life, fire res, and then I crafted so 2 reses on it. Belt is life, resist, and some strength. And boots, I was actually pretty lucky. I got these boots that I got crafted on move speed, chance to gain onslaught, 80% chance to avoid being stunned from the Uber lab that I did. And here I have the Embalmer, and I was using this as a pseudo 5 link for my Seismic Trap since I could not find a deer stalkers to save my life. So overall, character had like decent gear for his level. It was definitely pretty strong. I felt pretty comfortable with it. However, the main problem was I never got a 6 link, and because I never got a 6 link, I didn't really feel that comfortable with doing like T15, 16 Conquerors. I was able to get most of my Watchstones too, and this build was not using any clusters or anything. I would just use 1 jewel with some life and chance to poison on hit, which is actually pretty important for the build. Now, tree is the same thing as I had as the pop that I did in the video guide, but overall, character was very strong. Biggest mistake I ended up making was the betrayal board. So there's a craft that has life as maximum ES. I didn't know that you have to have Gravicious in your betrayal board in order to unveil it. It's a mod from a Gravicious body armor, and it's actually just so dumb. I had no idea that you had to have Gravicious on your board, and it turns out that Gravicious was just not on my board, and I never was able to find him after like kicking out a few people from my betrayal board. And that craft is actually insane for Ghost Shroud. It's pretty much having another like 800-900 ES buffer that will be refreshed 3 times if you get hit in rapid succession. So that's just the annoying part about SSF. And then I also got a Tainted Orb Refusing unluckiness, where let's go on my other character real fast and I'm going to show you what I mean. In that I kept trying to get a 5 link or 6 link, because I would get a corrupted 5 link and then I would try to use a Tainted Orb Refusing to try to hit it. But you can see here, it's ended up at a 4 link right now, and I just can't, and I'm just unable to use this chest. And I didn't even craft on life as maximum ES because I couldn't get the recipe or whatever from Gravicious. So it just turns out to be a very unfortunate scenario overall for this character's lifespan. Unable to get the craft, unable to get the 6 link, and it just made the character a lot weaker, and it didn't allow me to progress further at a level I was comfortable with. Now, overall, the character was super strong. I do think that Poison Seismic and Seismic Trap in general probably needs a nerfing and tuning. And Spell Suppression also made this Gauntlet way too easy. at a certain point, I realized that Darky and I'm Exile was pretty much gonna win by default because they were just far ahead and the character just looked too strong. I think I saw him in testing test out some Shaper slams and he wasn't even dying. And he actually did get hit by a slam or two on the actual some Shaper fights, and it just didn't kill him. It took a lot of his HP, but it was not even close to really killing him. And that and the defensive buffs, the determination and grace, and no physicality on the gauntlet itself. The gauntlet is pretty hard for you to actually die on once you have really, really insane gear, especially on Uber Aziri, which used to be one of the hardest fights, the Flame Blast, and taking one of them during the split phases is just not enough damage to actually even kill you. So overall, defensive reworks did work really well. I was pretty satisfied with my performance in the gauntlet. And I don't really know what I would change. The biggest thing I think I would change is probably looking at their VODs of their previous runs more and knowing how the betrayal board should be set up, because I kind of got screwed over on the betrayal thing, not getting the craft, and not getting the 6 link and doing more Scourge in earlier maps. And also not knowing that the fire golems was just so OP when you activated it in a different region. But congrats to Lighty, he did win the overall event, and he pretty much had a perfect run. There's really nothing I could have done. And the only thing is more practice in the future. I'll see if I will actually do practice in the future gauntlets, because it's honestly pretty resident sleeper to do a full practice run, but it might be worth it just for the prize and winning. But we'll see, because or I will have to just choose a different ascendancy. So in terms of my current character's plan, I am playing Aura Stacker Mamba, or I'm playing Seismic Trap, Exsanguinate on Scion again. I will try to go for number 1 and complete the event. But this time I'll take it a lot slower, since there's really no point in playing the Shadow anymore when I was dead, because I'm Exile and Lighty were ahead. So that there's no real third place prize besides some useless demigod, which I will not really try to shoot for. But hopefully this has summarized the Gauntlet event pretty well. Pretty fun to play. Scourge was kind of a letdown. Defensive reworks are probably too strong for the current event without adding in more mods. And yeah, so if you do decide to play, check out the build guide for this build on the Saboteur. It's super easy to get to level 50. And you do get a microtransaction box once you hit 50. So, and then what did I get? I think I got the helm, the Siren Hood. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more Mirrors, Exalts, and Mage Bloods than me. And see you next time. Bye.